What's up, Demystify Nation? It's Pat back with another week of AI tips for Trailblaze. This week, we're going to test out some prompts in O3 and O4 Mini. I had a couple calls this week and realized I was talking to people about O3 and O4 Mini and really wanted to see some differences in how they produce results. So we've got 5 prompts. We'll see what each does. And why don't we get started? All right. So sharing my desktop, we have our 5 test prompts. Each one kind of tests against a different category. Complex logical reasoning, creative generation, nuanced understanding, contextual memory and coherence, precision and specificity, and handling multi-step instructions. I realize I've been using O3 Mini so much, I don't think I've ever used O4 Mini. Or O3, I use O3 a lot. I haven't used O4 Mini at all. So I've been talking to some people about it this week and then having to confess that I haven't used O4 Mini very much. So I thought this would be a good demonstration of what both models could do. So why don't we go with our complex logical reasoning prompt? Should be interesting. This reads, if Alex is taller than Jordan and Jordan is taller than Taylor, but Taylor is shorter than Riley, who is definitely not the shortest? Explain your reasoning step by step. So we'll throw this one into O3. We got O4 Mini here. And why don't we look at our responses? So O3, answering logical reasoning. They're breaking it down. All right. All right. So they're going to stack these kids like logical Lego blocks. They're laying out the heights, building the chain. So it looks like they're going with Taylor. At least they're ruling out Alex, Jordan, and Riley are each certainly not the shortest. That's interesting. Let's kind of see what O4 Mini does. Well, something similar. You can see its chain of thought processing here. And then who's definitely not the shortest. So Riley is one you might not spot immediately. So we know Riley is greater than Taylor. Riley simply can't occupy the lowest rung of the height ladder. Let's see. Alex, Jordan, and Riley are certainly not the shortest. So they had kind of different answers. Let's read the question again. Taylor is shorter, but Taylor is shorter than Riley. So O4 Mini is saying Riley can't, but definitely not the shortest. All right, interesting. Interesting. All right, let's go to our creative generation and nuanced understanding. Stay in the same chain here. Write a humorous dialogue between a smartphone and an old rotary telephone discussing their differences in technology, usability, and feelings of relevance in modern times. Maybe this will give us some fun jokes here. Let's see what both of these do. All right, so O3 had set a scene. So yeah, so it looks like O3 just set a scene and then it's just doing just straight dialogue between Smarty and Roto, 2 different types of phones, and scene ringtone fades into modem beeps and nostalgic sighs. So not too bad. That was pretty quick. It reads pretty funny. Let's see what O4 Mini did. All right, so O4 Mini gave us an outline, and it looks like O4 Mini broke up like the sections of dialogue into each topic, which is interesting, but it doesn't really make for a full scene. So it looks like O4 Mini really follows directions, but I feel like O3 did better at actually like just producing just a straight up dialogue. So I have to give O3 the win here in terms of creative generation and nuanced understanding. At the same time, too, yeah, definitely O4 Mini didn't name them. Smartphone, rotary telephone. O3 was definitely more creative in that sense. So let's move to our next prompt, contextual memory and coherence. So this one was a little bit more fun to put together. Step 1, my favorite movies are Rocky, The Matrix, and Raiders of the Lost Ark, which is pretty true. Those are definitely top 3, my top 10. Based on this, recommend 3 movies I might like and briefly explain why. Step 2, after the initial response. Now, give me a concise summary of why you recommended each film without repeating any of your previous phrasing. See what O4 Mini can do. Go back to O3. You can tell O3 knows it's a little tricky. It's got 2 steps. We'll see what it spits out here. I'm just wondering how much it's going to repeat itself. All right. So step 1 and then step 2. So recommended Creed, Edge of Tomorrow, which excellent movie. Edge of Tomorrow is pretty sweet. National Treasure. So I've seen Edge of Tomorrow. I haven't seen Creed. Gave me nice little summaries why I might like them. And then just short and simple, super brief recap with all new wording around all those 3. And nothing's recycled. So it followed directions pretty well. It's nice and short. I actually like that. Sum things up. Let's see what O4 Mini. So Cinderella Man, Edge of Tomorrow. So also 2 of them recommended Edge of Tomorrow. And then The Mummy for Raiders of the Lost Ark. And then summaries. Once Forgotten Fighter's back. So yeah, so I think I like the summaries from O4 Mini better. They both kind of did similar things. I can't really say one was better here. O3 summaries were much more, short to the point. It really tried not to recycle anything. Let's see. So yeah, I don't know. They both did pretty well. They both did pretty well with that. So both pretty even in terms of contextual memory and coherence. Let's try precision and specificity. Precision and specificity. And this prompt is explain the difference between supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement learning to a group of non-technical business executives in 2 to 3 clear sentences each. Provide one relatable business example per type. So it's a little bit more complex. I'm curious to see what it says about supervised, unsupervised learning. I know how to explain those quite easily, clearly, but let's see here. All right, so it looks like O3, it looks like a couple bullets each, supervised learning, unsupervised. And then, yeah, then it rolled the business example in here. So yeah, unsupervised learning. But it used an analogy to training an intern with a stack of labeled expense reports. You show the model inputs, paired data. Interesting. So good analogies, very, very smart reinforcement learning. So yeah, these are all great definitions. Good business examples. Those are things I definitely use to explain to people, what supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement learning are. So that was good. Let's see here. O4 Mini. So it kind of gave a regular definition and then gave an analogy. This one they gave, it's like teaching a junior analyst with case studies. Not as clear. Let's see. The business example for supervised learning was very similar. Another analogy, giving your sales data an intern and asking, find interesting clusters, unsupervised learning. A little bit different business example than what O3 gave, but still pretty good. Reinforcement learning. So reinforcement. So I'd say O4 Mini is a little bit more, bland, if you will, in this instance. It's not a bad thing, but more just straightforward, whereas O3 gave kind of more relatable examples. Not that O4 Mini's examples were bad, but they're just not, they're a little bit more roundabout, I would say. Last but not least, let's go to handling multi-step instructions. This is where typically I've seen just about every model struggle. So the prompt is, imagine you're preparing a dinner party for 5 guests, 2 of whom are vegetarian and 1 allergic to nuts. Suggest a 3-course menu, starter, main course, dessert, ensuring it meets everyone's dietary needs. Clearly list each dish and briefly explain your ingredient. So this is very nuanced. We'll see. It might take a little bit longer too. Going back to O3, it's thinking about the menu for 5 guests. Still thinking, looks like it's got some nut-free, veg-friendly dinner party menu. So it's an outline style. It looks like a starter, smoky tomato and red pepper. So it gives the ingredients, why it works, stuffed bell peppers. So yeah, it's definitely, this is it's just straight to the point, the logic, why people can't eat it, why it hits your vegan base. Good stuff. Let's see what O4 came up with. So it looks like it just finished. Interesting. So O4, so it looks like O4 it just kind of gave the why. It gave the actual dish, but it didn't, it says something like dark chocolate. So I don't know. I think O3 definitely did better in this instance. Just more robust, gave the why and then listed out the ingredients, whereas this is just kind of pulling out, O4 Mini is just pulling out the ingredients and then just kind of a brief opinion on why it would be good. So I'd have to go with O3 Mini there on that one. So this is interesting. Good to see how the 2 different models function. And yeah, feel free to use those prompts that I used to test your models as well. They're good. There's things that we use all the time to see how different models respond. So thanks for tuning in this week to AI Tips for Trailblazers. Hit that like button. Please subscribe, and we'll be back next week with another video. Have a great weekend.